Hello. So what I wanted to show you today is a usage of intelligence artificial, Notion and Mermaid. So if you don't know what is Mermaid, Mermaid is basically a kind of syntax or language to generate a flow chart, right? So I can show you that, how it looks like, for example, here. So this is a syntax done in Mermaid, and this syntax is generating this flowchart. Okay, now maybe you're a bit afraid about this syntax, but the good thing is that you don't need to know this syntax at all, because we are going to use intelligence artificial to generate this content. So we will see basically. I was using for this example here, I was using two ways, of generating this flowchart. One, which is directly in Notion. Okay, and we are going to see that with Notion, you can generate this flowchart still using Mermaid, right, in Notion. And the other way is, I was using ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT to generate this Mermaid syntax here, based on a previous process flow, right? And ChatGPT generated this Mermaid syntax, and in Notion, I'm able to add this information and generate this flowchart. All right. So before showing you how to do that, maybe just why to do that. The reason is, in product management in general, right? So business analysis, what you need to do, you need to understand what is the process, right, of your client. What do you need to automate? What is, how it's going to work. So, to understand this process, usually what you do, you run some interview. Okay, and the really good things, is, imagine you can run an interview. Maybe you type some notes, based on this interview, or maybe you record your voice and you get the transcript, for this interview. And based on this content, you generate this flowchart, right? Because, if you need to present a process flow, you can't read everything. It's a bit, it's not the best way to do that, right? So having a flowchart like this, for example, make it very easy to present that to your audience and to discuss the process, or explain the process, right? So, so visual representation is a good thing to have. But the point is, usually these kind of things take quite a lot of time, in traditional tools to generate, and maybe you need to change something after a discussion. So all that take time. So the wonderful things, as we are going to see, that, using this technology, right, we're able to generate that automatically and save a lot of time. All right, so without further ado, let me show you a bit this example, and we are going to create another example, just after. So in this example, what I just did, I got this product management process, right, and you can see it goes from ID generation and brainstorming to market research and validation, product strategy development, roadmap creation, requirement gathering, design and prototyping, development and testing, launch planning, product launch and post-launch monitoring, and optimization. So that's the process with some, underlined step as well. And, I've basically, because I didn't run any interview, so I just took, and request actually ChatGPT to give me this process, right? But, if you have an interview and some notes, you can have, a process that's just specific to your client, right? Okay, once I have that, what I did, actually, I've generated this flowchart. So how to do that, right? So simply, if you are in Notion and you have the AI module from Notion, okay, that's a paid module, right? So you need to pay to get this module in Notion. You just need to write a space, right? And when you write a space, when you type on your space bar, you can see below you have this make a flow chart, okay? So what I've done, I just, copy basically all this process. So I'm just selecting everything here. Command C, okay, and then space, okay, make a flow chart. Nope, I'm pasting all the content here, and I just need to click enter. I'm not going to do that right now. I will do that with another example. And it has generated this graph. Okay, so that was the first method. So now I'm going just to discard that. And the second one was, again, taking the same text here. Now I've asked ChatGPT to translate that into Mermaid syntax. I have copied the Mermaid syntax from the ChatGPT. I come in Notion, I did /Mermaid. I start typing Mermaid basically, and here it's proposing code Mermaid, right? So when I do that, I just have this information here, and I just need to replace that with a code that has been provided by ChatGPT. Okay, so that was for this example, but let's do a new one, right? So you can really see, the process end to end. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going first to create a new document, design thinking process. Okay, which is a UX process basically to capture, to understand very well what are the expectations, the need of users, right? When you build an application, for example. Okay, so first, I'm not doing an interview, right? Because, in this example, it's not the case. It's not a specific process. That's something that is now, right, in the UX space. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to go to ChatGPT. Okay, and I'm going to ask him to provide me this process. We'll provide the process for, let's say, the design thinking process. Process with short bullet point. What I don't want to have too much text, so something short should be okay. Let's go and let's see what ChatGPT is going to propose. Okay, so I think it's pretty good. All right, so let's keep it simple, right? I can eventually ask him to provide more details or more things, to have a more complex process. But, for this video, I'm good with that. So I'm going to copy this information, and I'm going to paste the information here. Okay. Now that I have that, as I told, there is two ways to do that, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the first way. So I'm going to use the Notion AI feature to generate a flowchart, all right? So I'm going first to copy all this information. Okay, I'm going to just do a space, make a flowchart. I'm pasting this information. Okay, everything is here, enter, and let's see what is the proposal. Right, so you can see the proposal. I'm going to accept that just to have a better view. Okay. Okay, so then it's up to you, right? To to see if it's okay or not, right? In this case, I'm not super convinced actually, because I don't know. For example, in empathize, we are talking about understand the user needs, but also conduct research, interview, and observation, for example. And this is not, this is not really well presented here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove that. Okay, I'm going to do it again. I'm pasting exactly the same information, and I'm going to ask him I'm just going to click enter and see, So that's something, I saw with, with Notion. If you're not happy with something, you just ask the same thing again, and the result is different, right? Don't ask me why, but this is how it happened. Okay, so here you can see, so empathize, understand user, gather insights, then I go to the define step, where I need to state what is the problem statement. Okay, then I go to the idiot and so on, right? Well, so this one, maybe I'm okay, right, with this one. It's good enough for me. So, okay, so that was the result from Notion. Now, let's say that I want to do the same and check what is the result if I use ChatGPT. Right, so how I'm going to do that? So I'm going back to ChatGPT. Here we go. And I'm going to ask him, provide the above output in Mermaid syntax. So this is what I was telling you. You don't need to know the Mermaid syntax, but ChatGPT knows it, right? So that's the magic. Okay, let's do that. Okay, well, I hit some limit here, but anyway, I think it's going to work fine anyway, so I'm going to close that. So, what I can see here is that it is providing a very simplified version, right? Just, the high-level things. So I want something more detailed, right? So I'm going to ask him again, provide it in Mermaid syntax and make sure to include all content. So this is usually how it happens with artificial intelligence, right? Because it's like for me it's like an assistant, right? So you give instruction, you get a feedback, and you adjust, right? You have like some kind of conversation, like for an assistant, right? Till the point that you get what you want. All right, so I don't know, is doing something a bit more complete probably. So what I'm just going to copy that. I'm going into here, into Notion, and I'm going to start typing Mermaid, right? So I'm selecting that, and I'm going to now paste the text and see how it looks like. Okay, and so this is how it looks like. Okay, so maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm happy with that, right? I need to check a bit more the detail. I can see that there is a loop here, right? Test, and I'm coming back to ideate, right? Test, gather feedback from users to testing, prototype, refine, and impose a solution based on insight. Okay, so it looks quite good actually. Okay, so maybe I'm okay with this one. Again, here I have a split view. You can see that. So split view means, I can see the Mermaid syntax and I can see the graph as well, the chart, right? So if I want just the preview, I can just say the preview. If I want just the code, I can say just the code. Okay, but for now, I just want the preview. Okay, the same thing happened here, right? If I want to see the code, it's possible. So, if you get familiar maybe with the Mermaid syntax, and want to adjust something, you can eventually do that here as well. Okay, but now I just want the preview. So you see I have two options to choose from. Maybe with the time you can decide, right, what is the best, right? Is it ChatGPT? Is it, the intelligence artificial in Notion? So you need to test and to check. But the magic is, you get a process, you write things down, and, in a matter of seconds, you just get a full flowchart. All right, I hope that was useful. Thanks for listening. See you. Bye-bye.